I am Schell Gower, business owner with Clearmark. I'm a marketing consultant and strategist for companies, helping them with their messaging and also creating a long-term vision for their company. Profit First, I read several years ago, and I've always wanted to implement it in my business. But I think the challenge was getting, I guess it felt like I had to get my business to a certain point before I could implement Profit First, because when you're not really getting a handle on like how much am I charging? Am I charging enough? Which for many years I was not. I became a pass-through practically. I think that's the biggest thing with Profit First. And some of the other books is realizing how little revenue I was generating for myself because my operating expenses were higher than they should be. And a lot of it was just because in my line of work, when I work with companies, I will do a lot of outsourcing. So, I might say, oh, they need a blog writer. So a blog writer will give me, say, oh, well, it'll be $500 for a blog. And then I'll charge $500 to the client, and not thinking through like, oh, well, I still have to touch it. I still have to look at it. I'm still talking to the blog writer. I'm telling them all the things that they need to fix. So I'm basically losing money on the blog writer because I was afraid to tell the client, oh, well, this blog post is going to be X amount of dollars because I still have to manage that piece of the business. So
Schell, you paid people so that you could work for them? Is that what you're saying?
basically, for a long time, I did pay a lot of people to work with them practically. And so I think that's where Profit First really helped me take a different approach to how I was building my business and really remember that I started my own business, not just because I wanted freedom and flexibility to be able to, like I did today, take some time off, run to Sam's, grab some snacks for my son's choir and take him to school. Like that's one of the reasons I built my business, was to be able to do stuff like that. But what I never really thought of until I really started executing and implementing was, oh yeah, but I need to be sure that I'm charging enough, because it's not just that freedom and flexibility. It's also I'm delivering extreme value to clients, and that's worth something. And then being able to figure out, okay, well, what is that worth? And making sure that I'm filling all the buckets and paying attention to the different things that are a cost in my business, so that I'm recouping that cost and not just basically being a pass-through.
It sounds like one of your biggest struggles was that you didn't necessarily have the funds to put in the different accounts for allocating, which might have been maybe a pricing issue.
Yeah, correct.
So Profit First helped you identify that maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it helped me look at, we always took money out for taxes, so that was never an issue, right?
Right.
But I think where it was beneficial was for me to look at the percentages and go, oh, well, if I'm doing this percentage and this percentage, I'm definitely not charging enough money, because I'm not putting things, I'm not able to, like, I'm not making the revenue that I want to make. If I said, oh, my business is $100,000 business, but then when I look at my operating expenses, minus the operating expenses, minus the taxes, minus all these different buckets.
Oh, so it's you that wasn't getting paid.
Yeah. I wasn't getting paid.
You're like, wait, so I get 2% of this business?
Yeah, I'm at a whopping 1% profit.
So instead of like it being a 1% profit allocation, it was a 1% owner's pay.
And I think for a lot of us, when you're starting your own business or when you're building your business and those are things you're not thinking of, right? Like,
yeah.
You think of, okay, well, here's my expense and here's my taxes, and I get what's left over. And you forget that it was like, oh, well, but next month I need to pay for X.
Yeah, those annual things will get you.
And that's, I mean, yeah, like my biggest expense is my annual memberships, which are like,
yeah,
oh, I should probably charge more money so that that's not the biggest percentage of what is an expense in my business. So,
yeah. When we did that find your hourly rate exercise, What did you think about it? How did you feel? What did you learn?
I think when we did it, and the group of us that did it, every single one of us said, oh crap. I think what it helped me see when I figured out my hourly rate was that I was providing extreme value for people at a ridiculously cheap rate. And there were things I was doing on a monthly basis to help people that weren't benefiting me and the goals that I wanted to achieve. This is how much money I want to make. And there were these things that I had built into my business that were taking up my time that I was doing on a monthly basis that were basically a loss leader and a really big loss leader. And so going through that process helped me realize, okay, first of all, if I'm going to do those things, which I still do some of those things at a loss from what I really want to make, then I know that. And so I have to figure out a way to either minimize the amount of time that I'm spending on those things, the extras, right? The extra stuff that we do, minimize that extra because I'm not getting paid for it. And I'm already getting underpaid for what it is that I'm doing. And then also thinking through is saying, okay, then I can't do more of this. So this is
that's the trade-off.
Yeah, but not like this. It's not like it's charity work. It's like, if I'm going to do this, then I can't do any more of that.
Right.
This is like, it stops here. So everything else, I have to be sure that I am charging what I want to make and creating the right type of business that I want to make so that I have that freedom to be able to do allocations and to be able to do the thing, be able to take off if I want to, or whatever, and still be able to make what I want to make.
Yeah, I remember going through that exercise myself. I felt deflated at the time because I was like, I've been doing this wrong for so long, which felt a bit defeating. And yet the upside to that is there was something to fix.
Right.
So that was the good news, that there was actually something to fix. And we could do that and start to build this better business and make the kind of money that we're hoping to make while creating these lives for ourselves that were fulfilling for us. But it felt awful at first, that just to realize there is a silver lining to this because it means that something can be fixed.
It's okay, right? Like, I think the big thing is because we did it in a group setting and we all felt the same way.
That it was very validating.
It was very validating to go, you know what, probably a lot of people do this, right? Because we love what we do and we love to serve the people that we serve. And we don't think of it as, oh, it's just this, and like those little things add up over time. And so I think it was one of those situations where, of course, at first you feel deflated, you feel dumb. You're like, what the heck did I do this? Like, why am I in my own business? Oh my gosh, I'm like such an idiot for not charging, for being a pass through for the last 3 years, right? Where I'm getting no profit.
Yeah.
But then I think the beauty of it, though, like you said, is one, realizing that all of us were kind of in a similar situation for different reasons and in different, whys and whatnot, but that it was something that you could fix. And still trying to fix. I mean, I'll be honest, like I'm still working on it. We've been doing this for what, 6 months, 8 months. I'm still trying to remind myself, of little things, so that I don't get caught in the pass through, or making sure that I'm generating enough profit and knowing where my expenses are and keeping what I outsource, just keeping all those things in line with what I want to offer. And once you get that shift in your head, it becomes so much easier to create new offerings or to do other things, because you're like, well, I will do this because of X, but I won't do it because of Y. And it's because we've gone through that exercise.
Yeah. It's very empowering in the end, I think, especially to hold the line on your pricing. And because we did it in a group setting, we were like, girl, you are worth more than that. And then we would talk about our own numbers and then we'd be like, uh-oh.
That was the best part, right? It's like, it would be like my turn and I would stand up there and I'd be like, oh, I feel so dumb. And everybody was like, yes, you're worth it. Like you can do it. Da, 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 da. And then the next person would get up and they would do this. Like, it was like rinse and repeat. Everybody was like, I was like, girl, what charging for that? Charging for that?
It's so much easier to say that to someone else.
Right.
To be like, why in the world would you do all that work for that little money? And we were all doing it. So
we're all doing something different things.
something, yeah.
That was all that work for how much?
Right.
What you doing?
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much. And we will be talking again more about your profit first journey, and how you're building a business that you love, helping people you love, and creating the life that you love. But that's it for today. And we'll see you guys again soon in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye.